Today I'll begin the Platinum Trophy for Sly Cooper, Honor Among Thieves, the third and final game in the Sly Cooper Trilogy.
Alright, let's do this one last time.
There are a total of 37 trophies including the Platinum. It sits at a 4 out of 10 difficulty, taking around 20 hours, and although it says 2 playthroughs are required, it does not take 2 full playthroughs. Stage 1 is to finish the story. This time there aren't any bottles to collect, so that's a good thing, but there are 2 trophies that are a grind. More on that later. Sly is infiltrated an island that's the home of the famous Cooper Vault, only to find out that the island is currently occupied by Dr. M. Sly's first encounter with Dr. M was being a witness to a murder of one of his employees. After witnessing that, Sly found himself at the vault. Before entering, he was thwarted by Dr. M in a jetpack. This led to us making an escape to the boat, only for Dr. M to cut us off with a monster in our way, putting us in our first boss fight. The beast grabs Bentley, so Sly does his best to get him back. With not many options, Sly throws a cane at the beast, making him drop Bentley, only to grab Sly right after. Here's when the fight gets put to a halt as Sly's life flashes before his eyes. Then we get his backstory again and a recap of the previous games. Then we cut back to way earlier. Starting the actual game off, we have the hazard room. Basically a tutorial of the game as if we haven't played these games before. Getting through the prompts quickly, we're able to actually begin the first episode of the game. The Cooper gang is kind of understaffed at the moment, only being Sly and Bentley. After watching what happened to Bentley at the end of the last game, Murray could no longer stomach watching his friends get hurt. So he had a change of heart and went out of his own to find a spiritual center. He found that in the Australian outback, where he became a student of an aboriginal guru. Murray was recently spotted in Venice, where he was sent on a walkabout as part of his training. The only issue is Venice is under the reign of a mob boss named Octavio. Octavio isn't your average mob boss. He was a sinner, an opera sinner to be exact. He started off very popular, but over time people's tastes changed. They drifted away from opera into rock, leaving Octavio with a few of fans that consisted of all mobsters, and they brought him into the business. So hopefully we can find Murray before Octavio does. So our first stop is the police station, where we found Dimitri instead of Murray. Since Dimitri can be of use in finding Murray, Sly makes a deal with him. He'll break him out of prison if Dimitri agrees to help find Murray. So we find the key for the first lock, then pick the second lock, opening the cell. Sly then distracts the cops, letting Dimitri escape. Now this wouldn't be a Sly Cooper game had it not started off being chased by Carmelita Fox. Luckily we were saved by Murray, who's rocking a new getup. Murray told Sly about his quest. He cannot leave Venice until he makes the black water run pure. This is referring to the tar that Octavio pumps through the streets of Venice. Not knowing the full scale of Octavio's operation, we tail him for a bit and get photos of him releasing the tar. This was then followed by additional jobs where we tried our best to ruin his operation, which included some hacking, a boat chase, and even a chase where we played as Carmelita and fight off a gang attack. Eventually we found ourselves at the start of the operation. Here we used a disguise to sneak into the mansion in order to stop the flow of tar into the city. Once we took care of that, it was back outside as Bentley, where he confronted Octavio as he was about to perform, where he challenged him to a singing competition. Bentley was able to show off his beautiful voice and distract him enough for Sly to make his move and Carmelita just show up. Octavio then escapes onto his boat, prompting a chase. We were able to stay on his tail and eventually take out his boat, which led to a boss battle, which made Murray snap back into action as the Murray. We fought Octavio by baiting him in to walk into the tar, which slows him down, letting us get some hits in. Soon enough, we defeated Octavio, earning the trophy and completing episode 1. Back at the hideout, the gang spent some time together as if it was the good old days. But Murray didn't feel the same since his training had not been completed. So being the best friends that we are, they head back to the outback. We got a brief background of the guru. He's able to blend in with his surroundings and take control of others, which is a skill set made him very interesting candidate to the Cooper gang. We arrived to an unexpected situation. Not only was the guru MIA, but the group of miners took over shop across the outback. Our first order of business was finding the guru. Sly visited his camp, but it has been raided, which can only mean one thing. He's dead. Just kidding. He was imprisoned by the miners. We found him locked up, so naturally we needed to bust him out. So we needed to get him his gear. Once he got his gear, he was able to use his powers to disguise himself as a pile of sticks, prompting the guard to enter the cell looking for him. That's when we can take control of the guard, giving us a way out. As a party and gift, we decided to destroy some of their mining drills for the hell of it. We completed the job breaking the guru out, and he felt inclined to accept our offer and join in the Cooper gang. But only after we helped liberate his land and destroy the ancient mask of the dark earth that was awakened by the miners. So we did some minor jobs. One of them took place in a bar. What started as a friendly drinking competition turned into an all-out brawl. At the end of the fight, one last miner showed up wearing the mask, making him bigger and angrier than the rest. So we had to work together as a team to take him out. Once the fight was over, the miners were ready to call it quits, but the mask drew them back. This started the next operation, which is Operation Moon Crash. So the enemy of the ancient mask is the moon spirit, if you didn't already know. So we drew out the mask by dressing Murray up as the moon due to his unique shape. allowing Murray to then drop on it, destroying it in the process, and we could be on our merry way. But Carmelita shows up at the last minute, only for Murray to make his move, getting the mask free for it to find Carmelita. So an enraged Carmelita chases after Sly while Bentley tries to take her out using tranquilizing darts. Unbeknownst to Bentley, this had the opposite effect, making her even bigger. We tried throwing barrels at her, but that wasn't very effective. So as Sly, we went with the more direct approach, which is to climb up Carmelita and unhook the mask, which gave us the trophy.
He touched the butt.
With the mask unhooked, we're able to destroy it, completing the operation and popping a trophy. The gang noticed Carmelita still out like a light afterwards, so they kept watching her until the morning came. They were able to see the outback the way it should be, since the miners are gone. But Carmelita came too, so they made a quick exit. Bentley spent his free time finding the way to the Cooper Vault. What he needed was an RC specialist, someone who's better than he is. So he scoured chat rooms to find someone. That's where he met someone named Penelope. She's as intelligent as Bentley, but she claims to only work for the best. She currently operated under her boss, the Baron. He's a dogfighting champion who hosts a yearly competition called Aces in order to attract worthy opponents for him to fight. Penelope came back a few days later with an offer saying that if we were to beat the Baron at his own game, we'd be worthy of her help. So the gang had no choice but to take her up on that offer. There might be some serious catfishing going on here. Our first order of business was to find out who we're up against. To do that, we needed to get a hold of the flight roster. But due to previous shenanigans by other contestants, they keep the roster a secret. So luckily for us, we have someone on the inside who knows who has the roster. That would be our main man, Dimitri. We're able to find him in the Baron's clubhouse. As always, he wanted something in return, so with the promise of owing him a favor, he agreed to help us out to get the roster. He told us where it was kept, and Bentley was able to crack the safe that it was in. With the roster obtained, we're able to make our next move. Now that we know who we're up against, we're able to take the next step by framing one team against another to get the heat off of Sly. We took an item from each team, one being a handkerchief, the other a helmet, and planted it after we stole an item from one team and damaged the plane of the other. Then we caught word that a rival team was planning to sabotage our plane, so Bentley and Murray defended our hangar, only to be surprised by our old friend Mugshot leading the pack. After we dealt with him, they sent another group of guys to the hangar, this time underground. So we had to use traps that were set up. Then after that, they decided to just attack the hangar from the outside, this time using tanks as well. So Penelope chimed in, helping us from her RC helicopter. Once the coast was clear, we were able to head into the first tournament. As Sly, we piloted a plane and had to take out 25 enemy planes. Then we were able to advance into the finals, this time against the Baron. But the team had one other threat looming, and it was Mugshot. So we had to deal with him first. So we decided to bring in Carmelita to help. So Bentley challenged Mugshot to a fight in the town square. Meanwhile, Sly lured Carmelita to the same place so they can duke it out. After that, we did thin the herd a little bit. The Baron still had a huge army to contend with, so we used the Wolf to get it done. And to stop him from calling in reinforcements, Bentley intercepted his comms by hacking nearby satellite. Then after a bit of more sabotage, it was time for the finals. Our only goal here was to beat the Baron, so we chased him down and attacked his plane. Once he's down, we duked it out on the wing of the plane, only for it to be revealed that it was Penelope the whole time, thus completing the job and getting a trophy. Penelope declared us the winner while Bentley and her realized they catfished each other. Then they all had dinner, and that's where Penelope explained how she became the Baron. She dressed up to get past the age restriction for the dogfights. In doing so, she became popular, a celebrity in fact. But since that was now foiled, we proved ourselves, so she joined the team. After some time, Bentley reviewed his plans again to get into the vault, only to realize that his demolition skills weren't up to par, so we need to recruit a demolition expert. And the person Bentley wants is none other than the Panda King, a member of the Fiendish Five from the first game. Turns out the Panda King gave up that life. He retreated to the mountains and became a monk. So the gang packed up and headed to China. We spotted the Panda King as soon as we arrived. He was in deep meditation. So one by one, the gang headed to him. Once we got there, Sly entered the Panda King's mind in order to talk to him. Turns out the Panda King is stuck in the past. He's not over being defeated by Sly in the first game. So we were stuck reliving that battle again. This time Sly got through to him, telling him we need to forget about who we once were and focus on being better. That convinced the Panda King enough to snap out of it. Now that he's back, he told us that his daughter has been kidnapped by the general. He plans to marry her, so in order to get him to join the team, we need to rescue his daughter. We plan to sabotage the wedding. Bentley disguised himself as a wedding photographer to talk to General Sal. Then we needed to get keys to access his house to override the security. Once that was done, Bentley was breaking down the next steps of the plan, only to be interrupted by the general himself, revealing that he had stolen Bentley's computer, and with that, the plans. So we had to act fast, breaking into the palace to get his computer in hopes it will tell us where to find ours. At the computer, Bentley gets word on where his computer is. This brings us to a secret forest that the general uses for his battles. The road there was a little unorthodox. Once in the forest, we were confronted by Tao. The forest held some energy that allowed the fighters to glide around effortlessly. So we had to jump post to post in hopes to intercept Tao so we can hit him. Done enough times, we knock him down for a round 2 on the ground. This fight is more straightforward, just avoid him and wait until he's exposed to get a hit off. Once he's done, he accepts defeat, giving us back our computer. We had a few miscellaneous jobs to do before it was time for the next operation, that being Operation Wedding Crasher. The plan here is to have the Panda King and the Guru drilled through the bottom of the palace, getting an exit ready. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is working to get Jin King and even lure Carmelita to take her place instead. Well, that's how it was supposed to go. Bentley decided to steal treasure from the general just as payback, so Murray and Penelope were tasked with that. But as they escaped, Murray decided to cannonball, which ended up destroying the whole section to the palace. This obviously didn't go over well for General Sao, so he called the dragon to take us out, which started another boss fight. Luckily, Sly was able to use fireworks on the rooftop to land on the dragon. Once on it, we made our way to the head and get some licks in. Once it was done, we made our escape since we already had Jin King back, thus finishing the operation, getting us another trophy. The wedding went off without a hitch. General Sao got the surprise of his lifetime, getting arrested by Carmelita. With his daughter saved, the Panda King decided to officially join the game. The game was then contacted by Dimitri. He's calling in the favor that we owed him. His calls brought us to Bloodbath Bay, a town that's under the control of pirates. Dimitri gave us the 411 about what happened. Turns out that Dimitri had a grandfather who was a deep-sea treasure hunter. He had the top-of-the-line gear and loot that was stolen by a pirate by the name of Black Spot Pete. Dimitri dreamed about recovering the gear, so with us owing him a favor, he had no better time to call it in. So the first order of business was to find Black Spot Pete and find out what happened to the treasure. It did take some convincing to get him to talk. We needed to get a disguise by stealing accessories from other pirates, like an eye patch, a leg, and a hat, then compete in a friendly game of vinegar talk, which is to basically trash talk each other. Once we proved that we're from the same cloth, he told us what we needed to know. The treasure and gear is buried on Dagger Island, and to get there we needed our own ship. So before stealing a ship, Sly and Murray stole a jolly boat and decommissioned any ship that could follow us at the sea, while Penelope and Bentley broke into Lafouille's keep to steal the map. Once that was done, it was time to commandeer a ship and head out to sea. Bentley said it was a good time for him to try out his sea legs.
Well, you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dane.
Out on the sea, the game opens up like Assassin's Creed Black Flag. We were guided by a map which took us to the treasure spot. We made it to Dagger's Island. Now we needed to follow the clues that would get us to the treasure. We started in front of some statue and then led us to the shoreline where we found the treasure. Dimitri found the gear he was looking for. For once, it was going according to plan, until Lafouille showed up and took Penelope hostage, leaving the Cooper gang no choice but to leave her. Now our mission is to save her. The first step is beefing up the ship with Dimitri's new dive gear. We're able to go to the depths of the ocean and retrieve weapons from old ships to use on ours. Then we need to deal with the other mercenaries that are after us. Once that's done, we'll go after the sea monster by the name of Crusher. Not really sure why picking a fight with the sea monster will help us, but it's best not to question it. We took control of the Panda King. By using his fireworks, we were able to go toe-to-toe with Crusher. We went through a few waves of that, then it was time for Sly to come in. As Sly, we pinned Crusher tentacles to the ship, drawing him close. Once he's in reach, we're able to fire the cannons at him. Once Crusher was down, the Guru was able to bridge his mind, turning him into an ally for us. Then it was time for Operation Reverse Double Cross. The first step was to attack the Death's Head, which is Lafouille's ship. Once we beat him, we will have Sly surrender to him. Just wait, it'll make sense. With Sly surrendering, he'll be able to irritate Lafouille, enough to get him to brag about where he's keeping Penelope. Once he tells us where she is, we'll know to either follow Plan A or Plan B. He said that she's in the Skull Keep. Sly made it there to find out that it was a trap, and the keep was rigged to blow. Back on the ship, Bentley lures Lafouille into deeper waters, allowing Guru and the Crusher to make their move. With Lafouille and his men running scared, Bentley boarded the ship looking for Penelope. Once he found her, Lafouille came back into the picture, getting the Crusher to back off, allowing him to take Penelope back. That's when Penelope decided that she wasn't going to stand for this and duke it out with him along the mast. The goal here was to get Lafouille to fall off the end. With each hit, we inched closer towards the cliff. There were a few levels to get through, but it wasn't long until we found ourselves on the final level, knocking him into the ocean where he was turned into shark bait. With Penelope rescued, we finished the operation, earning the trophy. Then her and Bentley got together and Dimitri joined the game, which finally brings us full circle, back to getting crushed by Dr. M and his monster. Sly was monologuing what he thought would be his last moments, only for Carmelita to come in and save the day. Then we went toe-to-toe with the monster, eventually taking it out for a moment. The gang found Sly unconscious but alive. Now we had to retrieve Sly's cane, which fell into the ocean, so they had Dimitri go down and get it. Once he got down there, he was confronted by Dr. M with another one of his monsters. Dr. M escaped, but Dimitri took out his monster, the next monster being in the air, so Sly piloted a plane. He took down some flying monsters, and Dr. M came out with an even bigger flying monster. Once we beat him for the third time, we were able to swipe the cane from him, getting an entry into the vault. Inside the vault, there was a path that only meant for a Cooper, so he went along as Murray and Bentley watched his back. Sly was able to visit memorials of his ancestors while making his way through the course. We did pop a trophy for destroying cobwebs. Then Murray had some fighting to do. Then they were confronted by Dr. M. Bentley had to attach magnets to Dr. M while Murray was holding him down. Doing so would electrocute Dr. M, but he escaped right after. No one Sly made it to the main area. That's where they had their final showdown. Dr. M piloted his flying contraption while Sly needed to try and pull him down. Then hide under a vehicle, have Dr. Dr. M blow up that vehicle, and when the opportunity presented itself, attack Dr. M. Dr. M tried to put a wedge between Sly and Bentley by calling out the similarities between himself and Sly's father, always being the brains of the operation and feeling undervalued in his role. But Sly and Bentley understand that teamwork makes the dream work. And Carmelita barges in trying to arrest Dr. M only for him to shoot her, but Sly dives in front of the blast, blowing him away. Carmelita then has one last round with Dr. M and manages to knock him out. She makes it to Sly, who seems to not remember who he is, and when asked what's happening, she tells him he's her partner, Constable Cooper. That ends the episode popping into the trophy. Dr. M went down with the island, as did the Cooper Vault. The gang was able to escape as they recollect their entire careers led to this moment, and now it's gone. They search for Sly only to find his calling card and cane and a vault of gold. Some time has passed. Sly never came back, so Murray and the Guru left. Murray went to continue his training with the Guru. Murray wanted to try his hand as a professional racer. As for Penelope, her and Bentley lived happily together. For Dimitri, he made it famous as a skin diver. As for the Panda Can, he gets to be with his daughter, and the Guru has a new students that are musicians. And lastly, for Sly, we don't know what happened. Wait a second. Oh, you Sly devil. With the story done, next is to move on to the rest of the trophies. Remember the 2 grindy trophies mentioned earlier? Now it's time to go for one of them. That being, Beware the Dreadful Cooper Gang. This takes place during episode 5. Out on the sea, you have free reign to go fight as many pirates as you want. With every ship sunk or raided, you earn a point, and for every 5 points, you earn a new rank. For this trophy, you need to get the highest rank, which is Dread Pirate. You need 90 points total to earn it. You get 2 points for every ship you raid, and 1 for every ship you sink. So I ended up raiding about 40 ships, only sinking 10, popping the trophy. After that is another trophy that's kind of a grind, and that is the Bag of Tricks, which is to unlock all power-ups. You just need to have enough money to afford them all. Luckily, we have enough after raiding all those ships, thus popping the trophy. The next step is Master Thief challenges. Similar to the first game, each chapter has a challenge to it, but instead of completing just a level within a time, you need to complete a part of the chapter in a certain way. This can be different ways, like completing a boss without taking a lot of damage, completing it without taking any damage, or beating a job in under a certain time. I expected these to be challenging, but luckily I didn't find enough trouble with them once I got through a few. It's just that some episodes had 8 challenges to it, so it was time consuming to say the least. Each chapter had a trophy tied to it, so we needed to get through all 40 challenges, then we could move on to the next step. It's only a matter of time till we got the last chapter. After that are chapter specific trophies, so we had to go through each chapter to get them. Pretty much just went in order, starting at episode 1. There's a trophy called Target Practice. As Carmelita, you need to destroy 5 signs during the turf war job. Then as Sly, defeat 3 enemies using the water traps, getting the trophy time to cool off. Then there's a trophy for messing up the phrase with all 3 disguises. Then it was over to episode 2. Here we needed to be the Guru and attack 3 guards with the same possessed guard. Then we needed to defeat 5 guards with the ball power up. Then over to episode 3 where we need to ride the radar dish as Sly. Then drop a plane on a guard. Then swap over to Carmelita to fight Mugshot again, this time without taking any damage, popping the trophy. What a shocking defeat. Then it was over to episode 4 where we had to reach the bounce room as Murray. Then defend Murray as Penelope and the Panda King for the trophy. You've lit the flames in my soul. Then we needed to fight Tao again in the forest without taking any damage. Over to episode 5 we had to open 4 chests that were underwater as Dimitri. Then we need to fight Crusher again as Sly and Panda King without taking damage for the trophy Crush like it was nothing. Over to the 6th and final episode where we needed to listen to a message on the computer, then finish the Ancestor's Gauntlet job without taking any damage. Then it was time for the miscellaneous trophies. First one was to drop a bomb in the pockets of 5 enemies as Bentley. Then as Murray, defeat 5 guards using all 5 power-ups. Then as Sly, pickpocket 5 guards in a row without being detected. And lastly, pickpocket loot with Sly, Bentley, and Murray. After all that's done, we needed to take one last trip through Memory Lane, visiting the art gallery for each episode, earning the last trophy, and with that, the Platinum Trophy. And with that, it's the final game to the Sly Cooper Trilogy. Overall, I did enjoy finally playing these games. I've been wanting to go through them for a while. They've always been on my list, I just hadn't gotten around to it. When going through series like this, I usually break them up instead of going back to back just to keep it engaging. There are parts to it that were repetitive. Luckily, these games are relatively short, so it's no biggie. And since I'm currently on a platinum grind, there's no better time to do so. I have a few more games completed, so they'll be coming to you soon. Till then, thanks for watching. Bye.